Hi everyone. This is Caroline with CRP Specialists Inc. and Bookkeeping is Fun LLC. I wanted to talk to you guys today about multitasking, and I have a whole lot of information to provide with for you today. So, um, I did provide you with the definition of multitasking according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and that was the performance of multiple tasks at one time. Now, if you look at all the things that you're doing right now at this moment, you probably have several, if not many, browsers or tabs on your browsers open. Like, and your email inbox is probably pinging you steadily with new emails coming in with requests from your clients, etc., etc. And if you use Slack, like I do with my clients, it keeps popping up messages for that from them as well. Now, then there's your phone. And my goodness, the phone is a whole different issue in itself. Now, if you have all of this going on at the same time, you're doing what's called multitasking. So the problem with this is there really is no such thing as multitasking, because multiple studies have confirmed that true multitasking, which is doing more than one task at a time, is a true myth. Now, people who think that they can split their attention between multiple tasks at once are not actually getting more done. They are getting less done, getting more stressed out, and worse than those who single task. So, most of us can do two simple tasks at a time, like walking and chewing gum, of course. Now, it is more complex tasks that require the same part of our brain, and we need to devote all that capacity for those tasks. Now, there are just enough resources in our brain available to add anything else, according to the researchers. Now, I did some research of my own, and I found that there are 3 different types of multitasking of which you need to be aware, okay? So the first is the common multitasking as you know it, which is attempting to do 2 or more tasks simultaneously. The second is called context switching, where you switch back and forth between tasks. And the third is called attention residue, which means that one performs several tasks in rapid succession. Okay, so I'm going to explain each of these to help you better understand the implications on how they can actually seriously impact your ability to do good work. So the first one, multitasking. Now, as bookkeepers, which is what we are, now we try to keep up with our categorizing our clients' items or reconciling bank statements, while also checking Facebook, email, our phones, or whatever other distractions that we have. Now, according to data from an application called Rescue Time, which is one that I've looked into, so the user's average knowledge worker spends 40.1% of their productive time in their day multitasking with communication tools alone. So I'm going to let that sink in for a second. So here's the thing. Studies have shown that excessive multitasking has severe consequences on our mental and physical well-being. So I'm going to say that one more time. Severe consequences on our mental and physical well-being. It also impacts our short-term memory. It leads to increased anxiety. It inhibits creative thinking. It stops you from getting into a state of flow. So for those that don't know what that is, it's the state of mind where we're focused on a task and our productivity skyrockets. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is where I aim to be as often as possible, is in a state of flow. So now, finally, this causes us to have to create more mistakes and less productivity. Now, so you can see that this is really something that we, especially as bookkeepers, because our clients count on us to be productive and beyond. It's very important for us to be, very much to have our, to not make mistakes. So we really want to avoid this, and as this can really seriously adversely affect our business, right? So now I'm going to the second one, context switching. Our brains are simply not wired to do two things at the same time. So what we consider multitasking is just bouncing back and forth quickly between tasks. Now, this context switching takes its toll now because we switch our focus really fast. Now, sometimes it takes 1/10 of a second. This time seems irrelevant, but it's bandwidth to switch back and forth from one task to the other. Now, research indicates that every additional task or tool that you switch to, it eats up 20% of your productivity. Yes, as I said, 20%. So despite those consequences, most of us spend all day switching between tasks, even as much as every 3 minutes. That's just ridiculous, right? We just don't think about this. So for context switching, I want you to try something, okay? I'm giving you homework here. So I want you to get a better understanding of how this can really, really affect you. So get yourself a piece of paper and draw 2 lines on it. So time yourself while you write, "I am a great multitasker" on the first line. Then write the numbers 1 through 20 in order on the second line. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through to 20 on the second line. Now, most people it'll take them about 20 seconds to write the whole thing. Now, get a second piece of paper and draw 2 lines on that second piece of paper. So this time, I want you to time yourself, and I want you to switch between the 2 tasks. Write a letter from the sentence, "I am a great multitasker" on line 1. Then write the number 1 on line 2, and switch back and forth between these 2 tasks. Okay? So write a letter from the sentence, and then a number from the line of numbers. So I want you to continue until you've completed both tasks. Now, I'm pretty sure you won't have to finish this task to realize how challenging it is to switch back and forth between these tasks. This isn't going to affect anything if you're watching TV or scrolling through Facebook at the same time, of course, but while you're doing client work, being distracted by emails or your phone, it can definitely add anxiety or stress to your day. So I think by doing this task, you're going to understand how context switching really affects what you're doing. Now, the third one, attention residue. This is a type of multitasking that few people really talk about, but it is doing multiple tasks in quick succession. Okay, so let me explain. Now, doing one thing at a time is, without question, more productive than multitasking. But just because you're getting things checked off of that to-do list at lightning speed does not mean that you are free from multitasking. Each time you switch activities, you're forcing your brain's executive functions, which are the part of them that manages how, when, and what order you do tasks, to go through energy-intensive stages. Okay, phase 1 is goal shifting, where you decide to do one thing instead of another. Phase 2 is role activation. This is when you make that decision to change from the rules or context of that previous stage to the new one. Now, it is not only mentally taxing, but it is not a completely clean process. Now, Harvard psychologists did a study and found that people spend about 47% of their waking hours thinking about things other than what they're actually doing. Think about the implications of that has on your business and how you are doing your clients' work. As we move from one task to the next, it actually takes time for our attention to catch up. We're not machines, after all. Pieces of ideas and thoughts remain even after we cross them off of our to-do list, which is why this is called attention residue. Make sense? So now, maybe you think you're actually good at multitasking, or perhaps you feel that you don't do it that often. Now, my research showed that on average, people spent 40.1% of their day multitasking with email and IM, and most people can't go more than 6 minutes without checking either one of those particular tools. It's amazing, right? And some as much as every 3 minutes, which is baffling to me. Now, the worst part is that this is seen as completely normal these days. Most people are even expected to respond to instant messages or emails right away. Even if you think that you're being productive by answering emails or instant messages while doing other tasks, you're not. And remember, those are not the only tools that pull our attention. There are plenty of others that distract us from these tasks at hand. Now, if you're getting anything accomplished, you want to tackle these reconciliations or account disclassifications, you have a huge cleanup, or whatever the case may be, it definitely pays to focus on one task at a time. So, a single task equals less stress. It also makes you focus on what you should actually do, not what you could not. Okay? Now, a few suggestions on how you can help set yourself up for success in single tasking and focusing. First, create a daily schedule with dedicated time for focused work. Make sure this is blocks of time with 0 distractions. Whether that is a 15-minute or as long as 90 minutes, you must schedule that time and stick to it. Second, limit your email and work in bursts. Communication time is a huge time suck. Absolutely. Now, although it does feel like it's productive and we don't think of it as multitasking, it is. Schedule a certain amount of time to respond to emails and instant messages and stick to it. Set a timer if you must, but stick to it. I promise you will not lose any clients if you do not respond within 5 seconds of their email or instant message. I promise. Third, block distracting websites when you want to focus. And I know this sounds obvious, but any external notifications from Facebook or LinkedIn or any other type of notifications you receive are simply distractions. When we feel bored or anxious, we are more than likely to procrastinate. This is context switching at its worst. Fourth, alternate between periods of focus and breaks. Regular breaks help us to clear out that attention residue from our previous tasks and allow for good flow. Now, how do you do this? How you do this is completely up to you. It's your choice. But a couple of suggestions that I have, then one is the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break. I've seen a few Pomodoro timers out there. They have some that are for your phone, but don't let that phone distract you, of course. Or you can follow the 52-17 rule. It's 15 minutes of work, 17 minutes of a break. So again, there's timers on your phone, but again, don't let that phone distract you. And now fifth is to optimize your work environment for focus. Sometimes it can be as simple as clearing out clutter. Clutter is a huge distractor, both physical and digital, but put your phone in another room if it's bothersome to you. Whatever the case may be, just make those distractions harder to use. That's the main concept. Now, I know that this was a longer discussion than I normally do, but I think it's a very important one for all of us to really understand. It's important that we truly understand that focusing on one task at a time is how we will not only benefit our clients, but alleviate stress in our lives, in ourselves, and increase productivity, which only benefits our clients and ourselves. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name, again, is Caroline Passmore with CRP Specialists, Inc., and Bookkeeping is Fun, LLC. Join me in my Facebook group, Bookkeeping is Fun, for more great value for bookkeepers. Or if you're interested in bookkeeping services, feel free to contact me through my link tree, which I will post in the comments. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.